What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, today I'm going to talk about something that I've seen several videos on this. It's becoming a more prevalent topic. It's not really something I like talking about, but it is a reality of life, and it's something that I've come to accept in recent months. It's something that's been on my mind for several years now. And I think it's a reality for myself and for a lot of other people in the world today, especially younger people. And that is that I do not believe or see myself ever getting married or having a family of my own. And I want to start off by prefacing this is by no means what I want. This is by no means something I've strived for. It is simply a reality that has become apparent to a lot of people in society today. And it's a reality that as I've gotten older, I've started to accept. There are a variety of reasons for this for myself and for many other people. And I think the biggest one is finances. Most people today are having a hard enough time and a stressful enough time simply trying to provide and comfortably take care of themselves, let alone a child. And that is coming from somebody that I'm blessed enough to have what many people would call and deem as a good career. Um, Going into 2026, if I wanted to, I have the potential with overtime to make over $100,000 at the end of the year into the six figures, which is a benchmark that a lot of people strive for. And even at that level of income, I still would not feel comfortable bringing another life into the world. One, because at this point, six figures a year is not what it used to be. I live in the bottom 25% of cost of living states in America. I live in like the 10th or 11th cheapest state of cost of living in America. And even there, six figures a year is not what it used to be. And a lot of people don't even have that option. One, they don't make that much. Two, they don't have the option for overtime. And a lot of people nowadays, regardless of age, are working a full time job plus a part time job or side gig or multiple part time jobs and side gigs just to be able to take care of themselves. And that's not even comfortably, that's just to get by. So when you take that into account, to have to work potentially 50 to 60 hours a week at least to make enough to even consider having a child, it then raises the next question: why would I do that when I don't even have the opportunity to be a parent at that point? If I'm having to work that much simply to provide for my child, I'm having to then ship them off to daycare, public school, or dropping them off at my parents' for free daycare and having somebody to watch them. And at that point, all I'm doing is feeding them, clothing them, and providing a roof over their head. But I'm not able to actually be a parent and teach them, experience things with them, show them and impart wisdom on them from experiences that I've had throughout my life. And I think that that is a huge part of being a parent, and it's one that so many people are missing out on today. It's not just about having a child or paying for them or providing things for them. It's about being there to teach them, to help them grow, to watch them grow, to be a factor in that. But today, to even consider having a child, you have to, in a way, sacrifice that because you have to be at work all the time. The next biggest aspect is simply finding someone to have a child with. If you can even get to the point that you can even consider affording it, can you find someone that's worth having a child with? Someone that lines up with your morals, lines up with your vision, has the same lifestyle as you, wants to make the sacrifices within themselves for the child to help them grow and provide them with opportunities. And most people do not. Most people are living the YOLO lifestyle. Most people are more focused on pursuing their career and living for validation on social media than they are wanting to be a parent and raise someone. And there's things all over online. It's been a huge topic nowadays about the dating crisis, etc. But it's simply true. When you have investment firms and hedge funds and money managers coming out that predicting that by the end of the decade, 50% of women that are, I think, 30 and older or 40 and older, I think it's 30 and older, are going to be single and childless. And of the ones that are getting married or in relationships, half of those end in divorce and get split anyways, which leads to broken homes. And the only thing that comes out of broken homes is traumatized children and poverty and lack of discipline. Now, let's say that you do make enough to consider it and you do find somebody that you might want to have a child with. Then comes the question, where can you live? Recent statistics came out that the average age of a first time home buyer now is 40 years old. Let's say you start working at 18 and you retire at 62. Most people are not going to retire at 62. Most people nowadays are not going to retire at all. But let's say you are one of the few and you start working at 18 and you are able to retire at 62. Half of your working life will be spent just getting to the point of buying a starter home. This is not your dream home. This is not the home that you want to retire in. This is simply a starter home. This is what you can afford. The average age of a first-time home buyer is 40. The average age of a repeat home buyer is 60 something. That's retirement age. So to get to the house that you would even want to be in, to get to the house that you would want to raise your children in or retire in, you have to essentially be retired. And that's not even taking into account the biological aspects. If it takes you until you're almost 40 to buy your first house to raise your children in, yes, men can have children at pretty much any age, but women cannot. At 40, it's very difficult and highly recommended against for women to even consider having children. And also, as a man, yes, I could have a child in my 40s or 50s, but I don't want to be raising one in my 60s. I want to be planning my retirement and enjoying my golden years. And that leads into the next point. This is the first generation, Gen Z, my generation is the first generation that has a lower quality and standard of living than our parents did. This is the first generation in America for that to happen. Regardless of what your political beliefs are or what you support, the facts are that we are going in the wrong direction as a nation. When the standard of living of its citizens are declining, you are objectively going in the wrong direction. And that's not even based off facts. That's just, I mean, that is based off facts and statistics. But if you just have conversations with older people, you can tell that too. I've talked to my parents about it. My mother, at 20 years old, was able to live on her own, cover all of her bills, and be able to save and have money left over to do what she wanted when she wanted and not have to worry all of that off of one 40-hour a week job. You have people that are in their 40s and 50s that cannot do that off of one 40-hour a week job. So why would I want to bring a child into the world? Why would I want to bring another human being into the world for them to not even have as good a quality of life as I have now when I don't even have the same quality of life that my parents did at my age? Essentially sentencing my child to an objectively a life of suffering. With the good jobs being taken away, more and more getting outsourced, getting shipped overseas, getting replaced with technology, software, automation, AI. It's becoming more and more competitive for less and less jobs. I'm 27 years old and I've already been through three financial crises in my lifetime: the dot com bubble, the '08 housing recession, and the COVID crash. And we're on the verge of a fourth one right now as we speak, as we head into 2026. The currency is being inflated to oblivion. The dollar is being depreciated. Why would I want to bring a child into that life and that future? And you have older generations sitting here saying, why don't young people want to have kids? You need to just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You need to work harder. That is what I'm doing. I'm working harder constantly just to be able to take care of myself. You only have so many hours in a day. You can only work so hard. We need another baby boom, they say. Why? So we can be forced to pay your Social Security? There's more to life than that. On the other hand, you have your passport bros that say, just get your passport, bro. Go overseas. I get it, but why would I want to, and why should I have to leave my home country, leave my homeland, simply to even consider having just an average life? I mean, that shouldn't have to be the dream and the goal of people, to work and save enough just to leave everything they've known and everything they've grown up around. But that is the reality that we live in today. And if you haven't noticed yet, the government doesn't care. They're not going to save us. They're not doing anything to help. They're not. They're continuing to run up a deficit. They're continuing to print money. They're continuing to run up the national debt. They're continuing to devalue the dollar. They're incentivizing more visa workers to come and take away what good jobs are left. And when we complain about it, they sit up there and say, I don't want to hear about it. Fine. If you don't want to hear about it, then stop complaining that we're not doing what you want us to do. Because at the end of the day, we do have free will. And at this point, my choice, in my best interest, is to maybe find a life partner at some point, if I'm blessed enough, someone that has my same morals and similar aspirations and goals, and simply try to enjoy our life as best as we can, have experiences together, go on adventures, explore, etc., and try and live as stress free, minimalistic, carefree life as possible. Is that really the best that they can offer us in America today? It seems to be that way. So, as the boomers die off and we have a population collapse because no one is having children for all of the reasons I've just listed, plus more, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear the blame game. I don't want to hear Gen Z is lazy. I don't want to hear Gen Z doesn't want to hold up their end of the deal. What deal? What deal? We didn't get a deal. The deal was if we worked hard, we could achieve the American dream, and they're stripping it away from us. I don't want to hear that we're not holding up our end of the deal. I did hold up my end of the deal. Millions of people my age held up what we deemed as our end of the deal, and we got screwed for it. So now we're doing what's in our best interests, and you should too, because nobody else will do what's in your best interest. That being said, if you made it this far in the video, drop a like, drop a comment. What do you think? Do you have a family? If you do, is it hard? Is it easy? Is it worth it? Do you want to have a family? Do you want to be a passport bro? Let me know. I read all the comments. And until next time, I hope you all have a great day and stay blessed.